Here's the thing. I'm watching video with 1080p in YouTube inside a virtual machine. And it's not running on any VirtualBox or VMware that you know. Sounds cool? So let's dive to this tutorial. Hey guys, welcome back. And for today's video, we'll be discussing on how to virtualize your operating system using QEMU. So let's get started. To start with, let us download our QEMU under QEMU.org. Then head over to the download section. Under the download section, you can select any operating system of your choice. But for this demo, I'll be using Windows. So under here, you can select either 32-bit or 64. Since I'm using 64-bit, I'll be selecting the 64-bit. Under the 64-bit, head over down to the latest modified under this section here, and then download the EXE app. Just select that. Once done, let us proceed with the installation. Alright, once done, click Finish. Next, before we proceed with the configuration, we must ensure that Hyper-V is disabled. To do that, let's head over to the menu and search for Control Panel. From our Control Panel, click Programs. Under Programs and Features, click Turn Windows Features on or off. Under the list, make sure the Hyper-V is unchecked or not selected. So at this point here, as you can see, our Hyper-V is not selected or turned off. At this point here, we're ready for the configuration. So let's start. To start with the configuration, let us copy the path of the QEMU installation drive. To do that, let's head over to Drive C. Under Drive C, locate Program Files. Under Program Files, locate QEMU or QEMU. Copy that. Alright, once done, head over to your Start menu and type env. From here, let's click this Edit the System Environment Variables. Then under these settings, click Environment Variables. Then from here, select Path, click Edit. Then under here, select New, then paste the path. Once done, click OK and OK. At this point here, our QEMU is already good. Next, we need to reboot our PC. Once done, let us check the QEMU installation. And to do that, let's head over to the menu and select or type PowerShell. From our PowerShell, type the following. Should be QEMU -x86_64.exe space --version. Once done, click Enter. Once you see the version installed, it means that our QEMU was successfully installed. Next, as part of these requirements, we need to download the accelerator. To do that, head over to your browser and type the following. Once you're in this section, head over to the download section. In here, since we're using Windows, select this link specified in this corner here. Just click that. Then it will forward you to this selection log. And from here, download the package that suits for your operating system. Since we're using Windows, I'm going to select this HAXM-Windows. Click that. Once done, let us head over to the download location. From here, extract the download application, and that is the HAXM-Windows. Right-click, select Extract All. For the extractor, if you don't have Extract All on your Windows, you can use WinRAR or 7-zip. Next, double-click the application or right-click. You can select any from here. It can be run as administrator or open. From here, select the Next, then click Install. And click Finish. To test if your HAXM is running, head over to the command prompt and type the following. Type sc query intel HAXM, then hit Enter. Once you see this state status that says running, it means that our HAXM is working. From this point here, we can now start with QEMU. To start with, select any drive as long it has enough space to do for this tutorial. For this example, I'll be going to create a folder and I'm going to name this as demo. Inside the demo, press Shift, then right-click on your mouse. Then select this Open PowerShell here. Or copy this link then on your menu, select PowerShell. On your PowerShell, type cd quote your link, close the quote, then hit enter. Alright, at this point here, we're ready to go. Now let's start by creating the dis. To start with the dis, input this syntax. Start here from QEMU-img space create space -f space qcount2 space demo.qcount2 space 20g. To understand the syntax, QEMU-img is the syntax for creating the dis. At here, we set the creation format. Notice the qcount2. qcount2 is one of the dis format. There are other formats for you to choose from, but for this demo, since qcount2 is the higher version, so we'll be using that dis. The next is the 20g. 20g is the dis space that we set on the demo.qcount2. So let's try this one. And there you go. Notice how the clusters and everything here is set accordingly for that demo.qcount2. To check our dis, head over to your drives where the demo.qcount2 was created. Notice here, demo.qcount2 is the dis name that we create, and the type file is qcount2. But notice the size is only 193 KB. A while ago, we set up the dis to extend until 20G. This is simply because we need to keep some space since there are no data yet on this hard disk drive. Once we're ready with the dis, the next thing we need to do now is to install the operating system for this to work. So let's begin by download first the operating system needed for this demo. So let's start. For my operating system, I'll be download the Debian 11 from this link. If you are in this section, head over to the URL, the debian.org, then head down below. Under this official CD/DVD images of this stable release. There are a lot of these here in this selection here. Since this is a demo, I'll be choosing the first one. Next, if you are in this section, head over down below. From here, there are a lot of ISO in this section here. So since this is a demo, I'll be choosing one of these ISO here. Just for this demo, I'll be choosing the Debian 11.5.0. Once done, copy your ISO next to your folder, which is the demo, and paste it in here. Before we begin with our installation, we need to scan first the coding in the installation. Let's begin by, on this line, this QEMU system -x/86_64. If you are on this section, this is the default syntax for calling the QEMU system. Next, let's begin with the CPU base. If you do not know what's your CPU, then we can simply default that to base. There were other factors like max or host if you are working with Linux hosts. But since we're using Windows, the only criteria that you can select is the main CPU host or the base. For this one, it's safe to say that base is much convenient to use since we do not know what type of CPU that we're dealing with. Next, we have now the VGA virtio. So this is your graphics card. So if you have your graphics or you already know your graphics, but for Linux, virtio is usually the common default in any Linux distro. Next, we'll be setting up the display, which is the JT key and GL on. So just keep it this one. This is one of the coolest features if you boot up this or any hardware within the QEMU. Next, in this section here, we declare the machine type. Better to use the Q35 and the accel HAXM. Remember that we installed a while ago the HAXM? HAXM applies for this syntax, HAX. So that's the reason why we use the HAXM. Next, this device uses the sound. So by default, you can use the AC97. Next, this is the core or the processing core that you're going to use. So depending on your memory that you're going to apply, by default, I just set it to sockets 2, core 1, and threads 1. So it won't matter. Or simply you can only skip or keep only this SMP2. So as long you know how to check those things, so it doesn't matter. So make sure you know how many cores and sockets that you're going to apply. Next, this section here, we need to define the boot section. So for the boot section, we have two. The first one is the HTA or the hard disk, and the second one is the cdrom. For the hard disk, this is the hard disk that we set, and the memory, so this is the memory for the disk. We set to 4096 or 4G, or this is 4 gigabytes. So depending on your memory, make sure you are aware of the memory that you're using. Next is the cdrom. For the cdrom, this is the file name of the cdrom that we download earlier. Going back here, since we default this to D, so which means it will boot to cdrom. Alright? Next, in this section here, we activate the USB controller. Next to that, we have the device USB tablet. Since I'm using laptop and I'm using the default USB from my mouse that using within the laptop, so this is the best suit for that. If you don't have, or if you are working this on your desktop, you can simply remove this one. So this is only optional. And the last one is the display default, show or cursor on. So this one is the type of display within the operating system. So it doesn't matter. This is also an optional. But best way to apply this one as well. So it doesn't matter. As long you have all those elements, this is good. So if you are working on this type or on this section, feel free to pause and copy each line so that later on you can paste that in your code. Also, for this presentation, I just simply tab that to each line. But basically, if you're working with Windows, you need to copy that in one single line. Alright, so let's start. Next, copy those code and paste those code in your PowerShell. Then hit enter. And there you go. At this point here, let us begin now the installation. Select graphical install. From here, select the language and your location. And your keyboard. Next, let us configure now the network. For here, you can set any domain, like this one. Next, let us now configure the root password. In here, enter your full name. Also, enter your username. And enter the username password. Next, let us now configure the disk partition. Next, from this point here, let us separate the home, bar, and temp partition. Then select yes. Then continue. Next, in this section, I'm going to choose the entire disk. To take effect, select yes, then click continue. Next, at this point here, select No. From here, we're going to select the Debian archive mirror country. So let's pick from any destination here or location of your choice. Next, select any mirror from the list. Next, if you're using proxy, you can fill up the information. If not, just click Continue. Alright, once done, select the Install Security Updates automatically and click Continue. Next, click No and continue. Next, select the following. Then click Continue. Next, install the grub by selecting Yes, then click Continue. Next, at this point here, select the disk, then click Continue. At this point here, our installation is complete. Click Continue. Then from here, select the first select. And there you go. Let's log in. Alright, that's it guys. Next, before we end our topic, we need to log out our application. To open up our application, head back to your PowerShell. From here, remove the cdrom. Then hit Enter. And there you go. Alright, that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed this video and please like and share to notify for any video just like this. Cheers!